Hello everybody, I'm Lisa Thibodeau and this is ThibTalk and it's August 1st, 2017. This is our fourth ThibTalk. If you've missed any other ones, please feel free to search for ThibTalk and look for the other topics. Our first ThibTalk was on guilt, something that we all feel and has appropriate, it's appropriate at sometimes but not all the time. Then we talked about positivity, and last week we talked about you and choosing happiness. And today, some of what we talk about is about that too. In fact, I think maybe all of my life lessons are a little bit about how can we choose happiness? Why are we allowing and letting things upset us and upset our happiness? So as soon as I share this with another group, I am going to start. One more group. Luckily, I got my phone and my iPad working, and I didn't let it bother me. And so, if you missed earlier, the winner of last week's card for sharing the video was Bridget Marcel. Bridget Marcel, that's who it was. So, make sure that you give me your address. Okay, so today's life lesson is going to be about gratitude. Again, please feel free to share. When you share, I share. And this week is an iTunes card. So, when you share, make sure you tag me in the comments. If you're watching live, you have a red button over there that says live. And if you're watching replay, please let me know. Also, at any time that you want to comment on what I've said, ask a question, or give me any insight that you might have, I would love it. Except I'm not going to look at the comments during the ThibTalk because I'll get distracted, okay? All right, so we're talking about gratitude. And not just gratitude that's obvious. Not just gratitude that someone gives you something, you say, oh, thank you. You know, maybe someone does something out of the ordinary, or you're just like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. That helped me so much. That's awesome. And most people can feel that. Most people understand when someone does something for them. Hopefully from a child we learn, say thank you, please, and things like that are magic words, right? But the type of gratitude I want to talk about today is gratitude in almost everything. In other words, not taking things for granted and realizing that there is a treasure in every affliction, every tragedy, every bad day. Everything that happens is for a reason. And so you still need to feel gratitude for that. It's also about gratitude in just not taking little things for granted. Not taking the fact that you live in a house with a roof and you have your air conditioner working, or in the winter you have a heater. Not everyone in the world has that. Do you take that for granted? So it's also about each thing. If you know, one of my favorite times of the entire day is when my husband brings me coffee in bed. He always has. He wakes me up and has my coffee. And that coffee tastes so good. And I don't know if some of you may know this, because I know I've had more people watch me that don't necessarily know me personally, but I have asthma. And so a lot of times it's just a normal morning for me that in the morning I have difficulty breathing. But when I drink that coffee, that caffeine really kind of helps constrict my lungs and it helps me breathe. And I also never take for granted that my husband gets out of bed, goes turn the coffee pot on, comes back in bed, then gets out of bed again and fixes the coffee to bring it to me. It means a lot to me. And so just that moment in the morning when he brings me my coffee and I get to drink it and I get a first good breath in the morning, I want to be grateful for that. When I was younger, this was like when I was in high school, I think. I might have started in junior high. But when I woke up in the morning, whether it was, my mom waking me up or an alarm clock or whatever, when I woke up in the morning, I would lay in bed and I would think about something good. Think about a reason to get up. And that was just a way I started my day. And I think that that's a good thing, to start your day with something good that's going to happen. Like, how about just the fact that I took my breath, I woke up, I made it through the night. God has given me another day. What am I going to do with it? Then at the end of every day, if you're religious, like for me, I say my prayers, and I always thank God for the day. Even if it was a bad day, you still thank them because you learned something. You learn to appreciate. Think about the weather. For a while in the beginning of the summer, we had rain every day, rain. So we kind of got, like, oh my goodness, not rain again. And so we didn't appreciate it because we were tired of it. It was too much rain. Then all of a sudden there wasn't rain for 3 days, and oh my goodness, it was so hot. And we realized that, well, the rain kind of cooled things off. Or maybe you're in a place where, we've had times before where it's like, it's been weeks without rain and everything's dry and parched, and when it rains, you're just like, wow. I can remember one time in the French Quarter, we were walking out and just like, oh, it's raining, so excited. Everything is relative in that. So the rain can be something you get tired of, it can be something you appreciate. So it's just about learning to appreciate everything that you have, because there's a reason for that. Talking about gratitude as being for something that might not feel like something good. For instance, when I was 17 years old, I lost 2 uncles in a grain elevator explosion in New Orleans. And it was a shock. They weren't supposed to be there. They were painters, and even when we first heard about the grain elevator explosion, I didn't even know what a grain elevator was. But they were painting the control room, and we had no idea that that's where they were painting that day. It was a terrible time. It was something that changed my entire life. Waiting, because it was an explosion, so you had to wait to see as they found each body. There were over 30 people that died in the grain elevator explosion in Oswego. And I know that even though I, of course, I've had such a loss from not having my uncle, I learned so much from that experience. One thing I learned was, it was a couple of days before Christmas, and he called, and we have huge celebrations for our family for Christmas. So he was coming, and I was, talking to him, and I was like, well, I'm going to see you for Christmas. I love you. And he's like, Christmas? I don't know what you're talking about. It's not Christmas. And I was like, yes, it's Christmas. It's like a couple of days. You'll be down here. When are you coming? I'm not coming. It's not Christmas. He was just being silly because he was like the life of the party. But I remember that I was so grateful after that I said, I love you. So the comfort that I got in that made me learn at a young age, at 17, when a lot of young people only think of themselves, that you should always say, I love you to people that you love. So I do. I say it all the time. I try not to leave someone without a kiss, a hug, or I love you. whether it's my friends or my family. Another thing I learned is when he died, he was 31 years old, which is very young. But if you knew him, as I said, he was the life of the party. I guarantee you that he lived more in those 31 years than some people live in 91. He enjoyed every single day. So what I took from this tragedy in our family was those two major lessons that I think have shaped my entire life. To always tell the people that you love them, and to celebrate every single day, not to wait. Last week I talked about, what are you waiting for? I'm going to be happy when this happens. I'm going to do this when this happens. So wait till I retire. I'm getting ready to retire, but guess what? I didn't wait to have fun. I've traveled already. I've had an apartment in the quarter because that's what I wanted already. You cannot wait to be happy, because the only moment that you have is right now. God has given it to you. What are you going to do with it? You need to be grateful for it, and you need to use it. So when things bad happen to you, yes, cry, grieve for a loss. You can be upset, but also look for the lesson. My father died of lung cancer. He went through 5 really tough years of suffering. I miss him every single day. But I also know that I was loved every single day. And because he had lung cancer, he needed us. And I was able to walk the walk instead of talk the talk. So instead of just telling my dad, I love you, I was able to truly show him when he needed it most. So I was able to take care of him, as were my sister and brother and my mom. We pulled together and we showed him how much we loved him. There's a treasure in that. The fact that we didn't argue with each other. We all did what needed to be done, and we all appreciated each other. So it doesn't matter, whatever it is, whatever you're thinking right now, and you're saying, yeah, but Lisa, you know what I'm going through. Trust me, there's some lesson in it. There's some treasure. There's some thing that you need to be grateful for. Even if all it is how lucky you are. How lucky you are that losing someone hurts that bad. Because you know why? It means you loved them so deeply. And some people never even get to experience that. So there's always a reason. There's always a purpose. There's always something you can find that you need to be obsessively grateful for. One of the mottos in our business is to be obsessively grateful for everything, good and bad. Another part of this is for you to be grateful, you also have to forgive. Sometimes we're not grateful because we hold on to petty hurts and we don't forgive people. If you're a person that doesn't forgive people, underlying that is probably that there's something you haven't forgiven yourself for. I talked about you last week. It all starts with you. If you're having trouble forgiving someone, then think about it. What have you not forgiven yourself for? You have to forgive yourself and let it go. Because again, you're not choosing happiness if you do that. You're allowing something or someone to affect your life to be miserable. You're doing that. You can't blame anybody else. You're allowing someone to irritate you. You're allowing someone to hurt you. You're allowing other people to affect your mood in your day. Don't do it. Don't fall into that trap. Choose to be happy. Choose to feel grateful and feel that gratitude. So my challenge for this week is for you to be grateful every day. Now, I'm not saying you have to write a big paragraph in a gratitude journal, okay? Can you just lay in bed at night and think of some things you are grateful for that day? If you are a person that journals, can you just jot down some things? Make a gratitude piece of paper or a poster or something. And when you feel down, look at that and know the screensaver on my phone is a collage that I made of all the things in my life and all the people in my life that I'm grateful for. And I see that screensaver on my phone. My business is on my phone, so I see it 100 times a day. And so I never lose sight of the fact that I'm grateful for everybody who's in my screensaver on my phone. My wallpaper, not screensaver. All right, I always like to keep it under 15 minutes, and we're about 13 right now. So just remember to be grateful. Be grateful for every day. I want to thank everyone again who gave me some wonderful feedback last week. It really means a lot to me. Also, thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Everyone's time is valuable, and I appreciate that you gave some to me. I, of course, appreciate when you share. Anytime you share, comment, or like any of my posts, whether it's for ThibTalk or anything else, that means everything to me, and I truly appreciate it. Stay tuned for next Tuesday night when the ThibTalk will be Slow Down. Thank you so much, everybody.